Oh, again, this person. Leaflet. Again, this person is very, very, it seems that this person is very fixated on trans issues. Do Leaflet? Yeah? You want me to do this person again? To do this VTuber again? All right.
They are changing the definition of transphobia.
We're doing segments for the channel right now. We are getting our segments right now. Also consider joining lucyhaza.org/live and donating or subscribing. Be nice to me, please, so that I can, pay rent. Okay? All right, let's go.
They are changing the definition of transphobia.
I want to recognize that your line of questioning is trans.
Did we watch this?
And it opens up trans people to violence.
I want to really know what the supposed change in definition is of transphobia.
Talk about J.K. Rowling and the fact that she is in fact transphobic.
This video is a very difficult one for me to do, not only because of the sensitivity of the subject, but also because I want to bring my actual heart on this topic across as well and as clear as I can. I don't want to make it easy for anything I say to be taken out of the context that I'm trying to establish it on.
They'll do it anyway.
It's quite obvious that the internet is a platform that is built on outrage, hate, and trying.
Who are they? I have to ask this. Who are they? But they'll do it anyway.
To win debates or arguments at the expense of people.
They could be 100% wrong and it doesn't matter. They'll still say it.
That being said, I really want to preface
this
video by saying one simple thing about me. I love people, and I believe at my core that human beings are beautiful, complex, and carry a lot of deep value. The foundation of my thinking around this video comes from this place of being intrinsically interested in helping people. This is
of course. It always is nice to hear a video when person self-congratulates by saying, listen, I'm just a great guy. I would like to start this video by telling you all that I'm just a great person. Fundamentally, I come from the place of being an amazing guy. And before I even say anything, I'd just like you to know that. Okay? Sure.
It's actually a video that I've wanted to do since It's the day I started this channel, but I knew I needed a lot of wisdom in how I present my perspectives. So it took me quite a while to sit down and actually write this properly. But it's time. Today, I want to talk about what the word transphobia actually means.
He's about to drop a hit piece on Andrew
When looking at
Wilson.
this word, I find there are way too many channels, communities, or even influencers that try to cover this topic, but they end up completely misrepresenting it. And the clearest example of that misrepresentation is the way people talk about J.K. Rowling.
Of course.
The way they talk about her stance on trans issues.
Let me guess. Transphobia has changed its meaning because at its core, I'm going to tell you what the argument probably is going to be. The argument is going to be transphobia is the hatred of trans people. It is to hate them. It is to have something against them. But you know what? J.K. Rowling does not hate trans people. She just deeply cares about girls and women. And she's not coming at it from a position of hate. She comes at it from a position of care for her fellow females. That is going to be and when you take her care, when you take her positive stance and call it transphobic, that's not good. You're changing now the definition from something that is negative and you're including into it something that is positive. I bet your ass that's going to be the argument.
I need to talk about J.K. Rowling and the fact that yes, she is in fact transphobic.
J.K. Rowling sure has been busy.
Socialix says she comes at it from a position of Epstein. True. She did invite him to an event.
Taking her transphobic spiral to unbelievable new lows.
This is some serious Voldemort villain.
For the influential author of children's literature to be so vehemently anti-trans and to so publicly shame, ridicule, and invalidate trans people is lethal.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to see someone that you idolize as a child, say something just so hurtful and damaging.
If she's saying that trans women aren't real women, then she's also saying trans men aren't real men. I don't know what's worse, feeling invalidated or feeling invisible.
If you look online, you can see there is obviously a massive split in how people view J.K. Rowling. On one side, you have people who genuinely believe that she is transphobic, and on the other, you have people who completely agree with.
Okay, sure.
Her perspective and don't believe she's a transphobe
I think she's a lefty, honestly. You're asking me. I think she's a lefty.
at all.
Yeah, because you're stupid again. Was that supposed to be funny haha joke?
And obviously, you do have a lot of people who don't really know what their stance is on J.K. Rowling. So I wanted to understand why there is so much confusion, because there are objective definitions around words like transphobia that actually help us come to conclusions and find truth about people and these topics. To be able to definitely say whether someone is truly transphobic or not. So after seeing all the hate that J.K. Rowling has transphobic or
prejudice?
not. So after seeing
Not
all
really.
the hate that J.K. Rowling has received over the years for her comments, her posts, and even criticisms around the trans ideology, I keep coming back to one simple question. Is J.K. Rowling actually transphobic?
Yes.
Up until this
Absolutely yes. If you take your vast fortune and fund anti-trans initiatives, then I'm pretty comfortable saying that that person is transphobic in fact.
point, I understood the word transphobic to mean having or showing a dislike or prejudice against a transgender person. That is literally
You know what? If someone said, I don't really hate Ukrainian people, I don't really hate Ukrainian people, I simply love Russian people, and I'm going to use my vast wealth to fund the Russian army, then you know what? That person's anti-Ukrainian. You can twist definitions all you want. I'm sorry, this is bullshit. This is bullshit.
Definition of transphobia both on Google and the official Oxford Dictionary. And the subject of that definition, and I really need to emphasize this because it is extremely important, is a dislike or a prejudice against a transgender person. A person who carries this identity.
Wait,
now, I
oh.
don't hate people for their personal choices. And I believe there is no evidence of
So wait, hold on. I mean, by this definition, then I am transphobic. You know, by this definition, I am.
A person who carries this identity. Now, I don't hate people for their personal choices. And I believe there is no evidence of J.K. Rowling hating people based on their personal decisions.
This is completely nonsensical. This is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. What do you mean based on choices? By that definition, by that logic, homophobia doesn't exist. There's no such thing as being homophobic. Do you know why? Because being gay is not a choice. So there's no such thing as being prejudiced against gay people because of their choices. Because being gay is not a choice to begin with, and neither is being trans for that matter.
Transphobic. You know, by this definition, I am.
A person who carries this identity. Now, I don't hate people for their personal choices.
This is just stupid. Is that again?
And I believe there is no evidence of J.K. Rowling hating people based on their personal decisions. I have nothing against individuals living the lives that they choose to live.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but being bigoted against a group is not about being blaming them for their personal choices.
But I am against...
It's about hating them for what they are.
Certain ideas, ideologies, or values, and so is every other human on this planet. We all have beliefs, convictions, and biases.
This is so dishonest. Yeah, I don't hate you for being gay. I just simply hate your gay ideology. I just hate this ideology of men sleeping with men. Well, okay, then you're just homophobic.
Biases. And most of us understand that we can absolutely criticize ideas. In fact, in order to progress as a human race, we should always have the freedoms to criticize ideas and worldviews, even religions, as long as we're not inciting hate,
even religions,
or violence towards people. Then I thought, okay, maybe J.K. Rowling actually crossed the line somewhere. Maybe that's the difference between her and me. Maybe she did.
Yeah, maybe using your vast fortune to, again, fund anti-trans initiatives. Maybe that's a hint that maybe there's some transphobia there.
Actually attack an individual based on their beliefs. And maybe that's why the
being trans is not a belief. Being gay is not a belief. What the fuck are you talking about? Being a bigot is not just about attacking people for their beliefs. It's about attacking people for who they are.
Is so extreme.
Wait, she attacked a person based on their beliefs? But shouldn't that be the only thing that you attack people for? But even with that definition,
So with that in mind, I went through all of J.K. Rowling's views and statements that she has been criticized for saying over the years, genuinely trying to find where is she attacking a trans person? Where is she inciting hatred towards someone?
Yeah, I'm sorry, this is stupid. By that logic, no bigotry exists, period. Well, the Nazis might have committed the Holocaust, but you know what? They simply went after Jewish people as a group. They didn't really hate them as individuals.
Someone for being transgender. And I couldn't find any evidence of this. At least not what I would consider to be actual evidence based on definition. But it seems that for a lot of people, what used to be clear and objective has now become subjective and completely open to interpretation. I spend so much time trying to
imagine treating things on a case-to-case basis.
Find examples, but all I found were people passionately and unknowingly misrepresenting the definition of transphobia and then using that against her. Now,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Framing transphobia as just attacking someone, an individual, based on their beliefs, is a very, very dishonest definition of transphobia. Let me Google definition of transphobia, actually. What is the definition of transphobia? It is dislike or prejudice against transgender people. What other? Transphobia is the fear, hatred, disbelief, or mistrust of people who are transgender, non-binary, or gender non-conforming. It manifests as prejudice, discrimination, and harassment, often rooted in the belief that gender is strictly binary. Transphobia can be expressed through verbal abuse, bullying, or violence. Discrimination and harassment, deliberately using wrong pronouns. That is something that J.K. Rowling has done. Dead naming. Ignoring someone's gender identity. That is something that J.K. Rowling has done. Systemic prejudice. The exclusion of trans people from public spaces, services, or employment. J.K. Rowling has stated that she will fund initiatives that would exclude trans people from spaces. So prejudice, check. Social devaluation, portraying trans people as a threat, using derogatory language, mocking or threatening them, as treating them as less than others. Yeah, J.K. Rowling checks that. Trans misogyny, a specific form of transphobia directed at trans women and trans feminine people, which combines prejudice against trans people with misogyny. Whoops.
To quickly interject that the word definition comes from the Latin word definire, which literally means to set clear boundaries or to mark the limits of something, in our case a word. That's the whole purpose of a definition.
Yeah.
To give a word a fixed, precise meaning that everyone, and I mean everyone, can understand the same way. This is how words have always worked. So with that in mind, let's look at the biggest accusations of transphobia J.K. Rowling has faced over the years.
Okay, let's see.
First big moment was when she supported Maya Forstater back in 2019. Maya lost her job for stating something as simple as a man cannot change into a woman.
That is a transphobic statement. Trans women are just men that want to change into women, and that cannot be done. That is a transphobic statement. Again.
And for refusing to be forced to use preferred pronouns.
Oh, that's transphobia. Discrimination and harassment, deliberately using wrong pronouns. That is a form of transphobia. That is targeting a person on the basis of being trans, directly.
Rowling then stood up for her. This opened the eyes to quite a lot of people who saw this as inciting hatred.
Yeah, it is.
And they then jumped on this and said, see, she's supporting someone with gender-critical views.
No, she's supporting someone that is transphobic.
Rowling's whole point, and she says this quite openly.
Gender critical is transphobic. Gender critical is just another way to say transphobic.
Defending free speech and defending women's rights, not actually attacking trans people. Then
Yeah, she was attacking trans people. She was defending misgendering trans people. That is attacking trans people. Are you stupid? Is this person actually stupid?
You have the infamous People Who Menstruate tweet back in 2020. She shared an article titled Creating a More Equal Post-COVID-19 World for People Who Menstruate.
Yeah. Trans men can menstruate.
And she added, people who menstruate. I'm sure there used to be a word for those people. People then criticized this, saying that she was mocking inclusive language, which does harm to people.
Yeah, it does. It does harm to people, actually. Yeah, mocking inclusive language is a form of transphobia, yes.
She was simply pointing out something obvious.
What? What was being pointed out? Women are not excluded from that category of people that can menstruate. So what is... Yeah, it is tired. It is stupid.
That the word woman shouldn't be erased in the name of political correctness.
Yeah, it is not.
After that...
It is not erased, though. That is the stupidest thing that I've heard. Because guess what? People who menstruate is an umbrella term. And that umbrella term includes women. You can still say women menstruate. You can still say the word woman. You just need to know that there's an overarching umbrella term called people who menstruate. It's as simple as that. It's basically like saying the word human erases the words man and woman. It's a stupid argument.
Ray posted her essay titled Why I Speak About Sex and Gender.
Rayon Wannabe says, see, it's not transphobia because it's obvious, aka common sense. Yeah, basically.
Their issues. And if you actually read it, not just the TikTok summaries or the hit pieces,
Should I
she
read
raised
this,
pretty
chat? What do you
important
think?
concerns about women's spaces, about the law, and about children transitioning. A lot of people called
Yeah,
this
those are
view
all the things
harmful.
Wait, hold on. Those are all the things I have a problem with. That's literally the stuff that I have a problem with.
Yeah,
When for a
because
lot of people, this was just
you're a transphobe.
basic safeguarding and common sense.
Of course, we're gonna be talking about common sense. Why talk about facts, stats, theory, or anything like that? When we can just talk about feelings and common sense, right? Intuition.
In 2024, she posted something on X that really set the internet on fire.
Yeah.
There are no trans kids. No child is born in the wrong body.
Yeah, that's not how that works, okay? Every trans adult has been a trans child. To say there are no trans kids is just transphobic and ignorant, illiterate, uneducated. Being trans is not an ideology. Saying that being trans is an ideology in itself is a transphobic statement, by the way. Zoshelix, or address the fact that appeal to common sense is a logical fallacy. Yeah, exactly.
There are only adults like you prepared to sacrifice the health of minors. A lot of people really did attack her for this one, claiming that she was denying the existence of trans children, which leads them to self-harm and even...
Yeah. What do you think she meant when she said that there are no trans kids? She denied the existence of trans children, yes.
Suicide. But if you actually read what she is saying, it's clear that she's calling out the way adults project ideology onto confused minors.
Okay, demonstrate it. You cannot just claim that adults project their ideology on confused minors. You have to demonstrate first that the minors are confused. You have to demonstrate what this confusion is. You have to demonstrate this is idiotic. Like when a child comes to an adult and say, "Hey, I might be trans in some form, in some way," and the parents say, "Okay, trans people exist, this and that," that will always automatically be framed as the kids being confused and the parents projecting their ideology on the child. It will always be framed. Any sort of support for the child will always be framed as some form of brainwashing, as some form of indoctrination. Every single time, always.
Trying to separate the human from the idea. She's pointing out that kids aren't supposed to find their identity through an ideology built around sexual preferences or internal labels they don't understand.
Yeah, being trans is not centered around sexual preferences. I'm sorry, please stop projecting your fetishes.
Yeah, it's just like some
but here's
grooming
the
shit.
important part
Yeah.
that nobody that ever criticizes her ever wants to even acknowledge.
Kids should just be kids. Like, why are we doing this? Why are we playing this game? Thank you, Wolf Business. Thank you.
What the fuck does that mean? Kids should just be kids. So kids should just be cis, basic. Kids should just be cis and not be allowed to be anything else. Thank you.
Over and over again that she respects every trans person's right to live.
No, you don't. You absolutely do not. Like, I'm sorry, but this is just saying, oh yeah, I don't want them to die. I respect their right to live. I don't want them literally to die, but I just don't want them to have any rights, and I just don't want them to live as themselves, but I don't want them to actually die.
However feels authentic to them. She has never called for hatred, never called for violence, or never said that trans people shouldn't exist.
Yeah, she just said they don't exist. She said that trans kids do not exist, and that being trans is an ideology. It's an ideology that is imprinted onto children.
Issue has always been policy, law, safeguarding, and language, not people. And yet, because of the constant misrepresentation of the word transphobia, all of this gets flattened into one lazy accusation.
Yeah, I'm sorry, there's no laziness involved here. The only laziness involved here is your silly video.
She's transphobic. Not because she hates anyone, but because she disagrees with an ideology.
There you go. Being trans is an ideology. That is a transphobic statement, by the way. Saying that being trans is an ideology, that there's no such thing as trans children, and that children can only be trans through the injection of some form of ideology. That is a transphobic statement.
So the real question is this: are these statements evidence of actual hatred towards trans people?
Yes. If you say that trans people are these vicious groomers that inject children with their ideology and destroy confused children, yes, that is a clear sign of hatred towards trans people. Yes, absolutely.
Or are they just criticisms of ideas, policies, and language? Because if it's genuinely the second one, then the entire narrative around J.K. Rowling collapses.
Yeah, guess what?
And honestly, I think then the entire ideas, policies, and towards trans people? Or are they just criticisms of ideas, policies, and language?
Did you know that criticisms of ideas, policies, and language can in fact be transphobic? Did you know that? Did you know that when you criticize policies that would protect trans people, did you know that when you criticize language, aka respecting people's identity, did you know that those things can be in fact transphobia?
Because if it's genuinely the second one, then the entire narrative around J.K. Rowling collapses.
No, it does not. I'm sorry, but if J.K. Rowling is simply advocating for policy that would exclude trans people from all spaces, if she's simply discussing language, aka pushing for misgendering all trans people, then yeah, the narrative in fact does not fall at all.
And honestly, I think that's why so many people are terrified to even ask the question. Now,
what question?
Find that this was enough because of the amount of hate that she's receiving. I wanted to try and see things from the perspective.
Poor J.K. Rowling, receiving so much hatred. Poor J.K. Rowling.
Of those who actually hate her. So I decided to do a bit of a deep dive into the definition of transphobia using other sources, and that's when I discovered something genuinely fascinating and honestly a bit alarming about how the word itself is in the middle of evolving away from its original meaning. The deeper I went through this, the more and more...
Yes, definitions change, because as somebody that I watch often says, they are descriptive, not prescriptive. Which I guess this person does not understand, that definitions are not prescriptive.
I started to understand what was going on around the word transphobia and what was actually happening around J.K. Rowling. I went to the official online Cambridge Dictionary and discovered that they recently edited the definition and changed to the original wording from a fear or dislike of transgender people to harmful or unfair things a person does based on a fear or dislike of transgender and non-binary people.
Oh my gosh, imagine expanding on definitions. Oh no, geez Louise, oh no. Things change with time. Oh no.
Looking into this, the phrase unfair things really stood out to me because that is such a broad, vague term. It's not based on any objective reality. It can literally be used to accuse someone of wrongdoing simply because of how something made you feel. Now, anyone who understands language knows that words naturally evolve over time.
Yeah, there's no such thing as words naturally evolving over time, okay? But words are not organisms. They do not naturally evolve over time. This is stupid. Like, you're not a linguist, clearly.
That's normal. But when a word shifts so far that it stops helping or protecting actual people and instead becomes a tool to defend an ideology at the expense of someone's safety or the
I
right
have no idea what that's supposed to mean. What ideology is being protected? How it's being protected? This is stupid.
to an opinion, that's when we need to recognize that something has gone seriously wrong. And this is extremely dangerous. Not only for people who want to express criticism against an ideology they disagree with, but also dangerous.
Yes, all these people say that basically it's more of an ideology. Being trans is an ideology. That is what is being implied by all of these people. Well, not implied, they just say it. They don't even really even imply it. They just straight up say it.
Against individuals who, to their core, believe in this ideology and even live by it. And I'll explain.
I don't even know what the ideology part is supposed to be in trans ideology. What is the ideological part of trans ideology?
What I mean by this later. So clearly the meaning of the word transphobia has now started to change in activist circles, online spaces, and even a lot of academic frameworks.
Yes, definitions change. Whoop-de-doo. What am I supposed to take from this? Yeah, definitions evolve with time.
Definition has now begun to stretch far beyond hatred towards a trans person. Suddenly, it's starting to include things like disagreeing with certain parts of gender ideology.
Okay, give me an example. I would love to hear an example of this, disagreeing with certain parts of gender ideology. What the fuck is gender ideology to begin with? I would like to know. I would like a clear and precise definition of what gender ideology is. Grayon Wannabe says that trans people have a right to basic human dignity. That's the ideology part, apparently.
Questioning whether self-ID alone should replace biological sex in the law. Acknowledging that biological...
I'm sorry, what?
Whether include things like disagreeing with certain parts of gender ideology. Questioning whether self-ID alone should replace biological sex in the law.
Yeah, gender and sex are different things. So your gender identity should have nothing to do with your sex. I don't see where the ideology bit comes in.
Acknowledging that biological sex exists and actually matters in this conversation, supporting women-only spaces based on sex, raising concerns about medical transitions for minors, or even just defending someone's right to talk openly about these things.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Usually those conversations are framed in fields over reels. I feel it's icky, I don't like it, so it should be forbidden. That is the extent of the conversation that is being had, but from the right wing. When it comes to minors being able to get any gender-affirming care, or when it comes to the so-called women's spaces. It feels icky to me, and so it should be forbidden. That is it.
And under this newer definition, you can now be labeled transphobic even if you don't hate trans people, don't fear trans people.
Yeah, if you say, I'm sorry, but if you use terms like trans ideology, then you hate trans people. I'll say it. I'll say it with an open chest. Is that a thing?
Don't mistreat trans people and genuinely believe that trans adults deserve...
Yeah, I'm sorry, but saying that trans kids do not exist and that being trans is an ideology is actually harming trans people.
Full dignity, compassion.
Also the idea that...
It is denying trans people dignity to say that they cannot be trans as children and that they're spreading ideology. With my full chest, thank you. Socialix. I have my homemade tofu chili con. My goodness, nobody wants to engage.
That it's specifically about trans people and not the person's ideology specifically is ridiculous, right? Because I can still dislike a trans person, obviously.
What is trans ideology?
Being trans is not like a fucking... It's not an invincible shield where you can no longer be disliked. It's ridiculous, obviously.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with what is being discussed. Absolutely nothing. I have trans people that I dislike. It's just, this is a stupid argument, of course.
Disagreed with even.
As individuals. Websites like transactual.org.uk, certain subreddits, and forums like Empty Closet are the ones pushing hard for this change in definition. Changing the meaning of the word transphobia, or any morally loaded word, is incredibly dangerous.
Why?
And the reason is actually pretty simple. When you change the meaning of a word like this, you're no longer talking about harmful behavior towards actual people. You're now...
Yes, you are. I'm sorry, again. Are you really telling me that if you claim that trans kids don't exist, it will not harm them? If you're saying that when a child comes out as trans, they are just being indoctrinated, are you saying that's not harmful to them? Yes, it is. Stop bullshitting me.
Releasing ideas and thought. The original meaning of transphobia was very clear: hatred or prejudice towards a transgender person. But once the word starts being used
it actually wasn't towards transgender person, it's towards transgender people.
Describe disagreement with an ideology.
I would say
again, what the fuck is gender ideology?
Goes a little bit further than that. It's specifically because they're transgender that you would have that issue.
Belief system, or even a policy. You're no longer protecting people, you're protecting an idea. And that's exactly what is happening now. I can't believe I have to say this, but ideas don't have rights. People have rights. The moment society starts treating criticism,
I have no idea what this is supposed to mean,
of an idea as if it's an attack on a person, honest conversation dies. You can't ask questions anymore, and you can't debate policies.
Yes, you can. You can ask questions, but you can also be criticized for those questions if they are really dishonest or stupid questions.
Can't challenge bad...
He likely thinks being trans is a choice. Probably.
...actors or point out contradictions. And the second a word like trans...
What are the contradictions? Point them out. Go on.
Phobia gets weaponized to shut people up instead of protecting individuals. You create a culture of fear where people stay silent.
Ah, yes. The trans mob is silencing everybody and everybody's too afraid. Shut up.
It's not because they're hateful, but because they're terrified of being labeled as hateful. Me sitting down right now and making this video has been a very hard pill for me to swallow.
Oh, no.
Because I know I'm going to be misrepresented and labeled as something that I personally detest. All because
I'm here misrepresenting this guy, apparently.
I have my own value system. And this is exactly why I find this modern use of the word so concerning. Because once a term stops being rooted in protecting people, it becomes a...
Yeah, I'm sorry, it is still rooted in protecting people. Just because you're too stupid to see it, that's not my problem.
Tool that can be used against anyone that steps outside the accepted narrative, even if their intention...
What the fuck is the accepted narrative? What does that mean?
...is respectful, thoughtful, or completely harmless.
Yeah, you can be respectful and spew hate. You can respectfully spew hate. Did you know that that's a possibility? Did you know that that's what people often do? They spew their hate very calmly and very respectfully.
It creates this environment where people are forced to choose between being silent or being branded with a label that carries enormous social weight, or at least used to carry. I can tell you right now, there are people watching this.
Yeah, I know you don't care. I know you don't care. You never cared, in fact.
Feeling nothing but hatred towards me, and maybe even a strong desire to see something bad happen to me, because...
Oh, you're such a victim.
They have been indoctrinated to the point that they equate me criticizing an idea to dehumanizing them as individuals.
Yes, if you criticize the idea that children can be trans, if you criticize the idea that people can be trans and that they're not actually just pushing ideology, then yeah, you're actually discriminating against people. Guess what? Discriminating against ideas can be directly discriminatory against people. If you criticize the idea that people are just gay and that it's a natural thing that people can be, then yeah, you're directly attacking gay people through attacking the idea of being gay. Ridiculous.
No, that's on
if
purpose.
there is anyone watching me who deeply believes that I am...
you can attack through attacking ideas, you can attack people directly, yes. It is stupid to say otherwise.
Evil, and what I am doing is a form of hatred. I just want to say that you as an individual are fearfully and wonderfully made by God. And
oh my fucking God. Yeah, I might hate what you are, but you're beautiful. You're a beautiful human, even though I despise what you are. Okay, I despise what you are. I will never accept you, but you know what? You're beautiful and you were made by God. Yeah, this is hateful rhetoric.
genuinely want
No, man. If they're taking you out of context, then fuck them. What the hell is this?
what's best for you in this life, especially if you have transitioned or if you struggle deeply with gender dysphoria. One of the
does that have
arguments
to do with
trans
anything?
activists often make, and I kind of understand where the emotion comes from, is that
Emotion. Like it's always framed as irrational, emotional, as opposed to what this guy is doing.
criticizing transgender ideology or
Nothing to
choosing
do with
not to
anything.
participate in it is a form of hatred and causes harm to trans people.
Again, I have never heard anybody actually define what trans ideology is supposed to be. I have never heard anybody actually go ahead and define what that is. Gender ideology.
And when you first hear that, it sounds pretty genuine, it sounds pretty serious, and it sounds like something that you should definitely take on board and take to heart. And honestly, if we were talking about the real long-standing definition of transphobia, actual hate,
that's the point. They demand that you give them like a fucking tithe, basically, right? Show your loyalty.
actual
Yeah, people who like being respected. Woof. Imagine that. Imagine what a shock that people like being respected and not being treated like shit.
mockery, discrimination, or abuse towards a trans individual, I would
No, that was never the definition. Did you know that whole groups can be discriminated against? That it's not just about individuals?
completely agree. Hurting people is wrong. Nobody decent
Slavers
wants
of
this.
thought, man. You ever think about that? They're slavers of thought. It's crazy. They're the real slave owners now, man. The modern day slavery.
Everyone deserves to live
Fuck
without
me.
fear or cruelty. Even Jesus stood for this. But that's not
Oh
what
my god, of course this guy is a Christian lunatic.
this argument is usually about. What's happened over the past few years is that the word harm has shifted. It's no longer being used to describe bigotry towards a person. Instead, it's being used to
You
describe
hurt their feelings,
disagreement
man.
with a belief system that not everyone accepts. And instead of
Give
staying
me
in
an
the
example. Give me an example, or else I will just dismiss this out of hand.
realm of let me live how I choose, the expectation has become
No, listen.
you must affirm
This is so
this.
easy. This is so easy. You can live how you choose. I respect your right to do that, but I also can say it's fucking weird. You know, it's. I just think it's weird. You just tell them that it's weird. Like,
Yeah, that's bigoted. And I can just call it bigoted, okay? And I'm sorry, you just want to have your cake and eat it too. You want to have your cake and eat it too. You want to be able to say that something's weird, but when someone criticizes you for it, you start crying like a little bitch. Pardon my language. Like, what is this? What is this? Oh, I have the right to call you a weirdo, but if you criticize me for it, oh no. How can you call me a bigot? Oh no. This is so pathetic. Oh, my right to call you a weirdo. Socialist says, but I also support people in power who will legislate your existence away. True.
this is weird. It's overly sexual. Like, what the fuck? You know?
This is overly sexual? Is this a random picture, or are we actually believing that this is overly sexual? What exactly is overly sexual? I'm sorry, if you have a dirty mind, then that's not my responsibility. It's not my responsibility to care about that.
You must use this language, and you must speak this way even if you don't believe it. It means the boundary line has now moved from their world into yours. It's not really about safety anymore, it's about participation. And to support the shift, activists will often point to studies. These papers get presented as absolute proof that if someone doesn't truly affirm every part of gender ideology, they're somehow
What the fuck is gender ideology? Also, of course, anti-intellectual hacks are going to be questioning studies because, of course.
contributing to suffering or even suicide.
Nah, bro.
But the way these studies get used in public conversation,
Think about how fucking blackmail that shit is. Think about that, chat. Chat, you need to call me.
Chat, imagine believing in studies, imagine depending on studies when you can just depend on common sense.
You need to call me Princess Leaflet, Her Majesty, the ruler of this world. Otherwise, I'm gonna get depressed, and I might want to hurt myself.
Yeah, you're an idiot. You're a complete idiot.
That's just fucking ridiculous. It's just
Yeah, I know it's ridiculous. The bullshit that you made up is ridiculous. Congratulations. You created a whole ridiculous scenario in your head and you called it ridiculous. Well done.
straight up blackmail. Yeah. Am I wrong?
Yes, you are. You're stupid. Yes, if you continuously disrespect someone, if you continuously harass a person, they might want to harm themselves. Yes, it's not blackmail.
Is
This
almost
is so stupid. This is stupid beyond belief.
never accurate. They take very real pain, things like trauma.
No. Even if it does, even if the studies are true, who cares? Who cares? Like, oh man, you know what? If you don't give me money, I'm gonna be so sad. I'm gonna be so sad. It's gonna affect my life, like on a drastic level. I'll be so depressed if you don't give me money. Like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, because rejecting someone's basic identity is just like saying you have to give me money.
Family rejection and bullying, and boil it down to one overly simplified message. If you don't use my pronouns,
These people are just stupid.
you're hurting me and enabling me
exactly.
to harm
Yes. What the fuck do you mean?
myself.
That's what I mean.
I don't believe that.
Imagine if I went out of my way to just not use someone's name, but I just completely made up shitty sounding name for them, and I just called them that nonstop. And I just said, oh, yeah, you cannot blackmailing me by saying that you don't feel good when I don't call you by your name, but I call you like, I don't know, butthole, shithole, fuckface. Why would I not be able to do that? Were you gonna police my speech? Come on.
This helps anyone. Not that
Rayun Wannabe says they would throw hissy fits and cry to their mommies. They would shit their pants if someone misgendered them repeatedly. That's
trans
true.
people who are actually struggling.
what is that?
And not the people they're demanding this from. Because real compassion shouldn't require you to shut your brain off. And genuine care shouldn't depend
Jeez.
on forcing others to repeat ideas they
So,
don't
like, can I
believe
not say that this is some weird shit? Like, this is some weird sexual fetish shit. I don't want to be a part of it. That's all it is. I don't want to be a part of this shit.
in. It is possible.
Yeah, not everybody is into kink. This is a stupid argument. Did you know that cis people are into kink as well? Did you know that heterosexual couples are into kink as well? Did you know that it's not exclusive to the LGBT?
And honestly, it's necessary to respect people.
Dude, honestly, if that's their if that's their definition of like phobic, then you know what? Fair enough, fine. Don't care. Literally don't.
Yeah, I know you don't care.
If you're gonna say I'm transphobic because I'm like, maybe we don't prance around with the sexual shit in front of kids.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with being trans. Again, this person is just really, really stupid. Those are completely separate topics, unrelated.
Like, oh, that's transphobic. Okay, well, fair enough, fine.
Nobody says that. Nobody says you're transphobic if you discuss kink at Pride or whatever. Nobody says that.
Say Joker.
Those are just separate topics.
Thank you so much for the bits. Thank you. To help with the money-based depression.
Rayun Wannabe says she equates being trans with being sexual, like all transphobes do. Exactly.
And thank you. Thank you.
While still being honest about where we disagree.
It's
and
all
that brings me
blackmail,
to something
dude.
even deeper.
Yeah, such blackmail.
Something I think is at the core of why all of this matters so
Most
much
gay
to me.
people would be
Because
considered
when-
Yeah, because all of this matters so much because you just want your right to misgender people to be respected so much.
start taking genuine concern.
Yeah, that's what they say. They say, what do you call it? Wasn't it trans exclusionary lesbians or whatever? Because there's like lesbians that are like, yo, I just don't like dick. And they're like, whoa, that's transphobic. Like, what the fuck?
Disagreements or thoughtful questions.
It is transphobic. What about trans women that are post-operation then? What about those trans women? They don't have a dick. This whole conversation is stupid, of course, but...
and label it as hatred, it creates this illusion that tolerance is the highest form of love. Tolerance is nothing. It's just apathy. It's a performance of kindness that doesn't actually help anyone grow, heal, or understand themselves. It's
Yes, says the guy that really likes to misgender people.
pathetic, and it shows a huge lack of genuine care.
Also, you know what? I'm gonna say it. I agree with this guy. Okay? I agree with this guy. You know what? I agree. Tolerance is not love. You know what is? Acceptance. How about that? You know what? I will agree with this. I don't like tolerance. Okay? I don't like it when people just tolerate my existence. Okay? How about this? Acceptance.
I do gotta tell you this though, and this is the absolute truth. There's a lot of trans people that don't agree with this shit. I know a couple. They don't agree with this shit. This has been hijacked by absolute freaks, to be honest. Like just absolute.
Oh, is the thought that counts? Thank you. Like I remember talking about this years ago, I think with my mom, that tolerance is just bullshit. That's acceptance is the thing. Like I tolerate your presence here. Oh no, screw you. What I don't, you know?
Fucking it's like people that want to control you for their own self-esteem, and they want you to participate in like whatever degeneracy they have. It's not even just a trans thing. It's starting to move into other shit as well. Well, like the whole dog thing, for instance, right?
Who have grown up, who unfortunately...
Dwin says every trans person I met just wants to live their life, but only a few. Here's the thing, guys. The trans people that just want to live their life are not going to be complaining about this shit. So
yeah, they are. Because you're actively standing in the way of them just living their life. What the fuck do you mean? Why do you think that if you misgender trans people that it does not stand in the way of them just living their life? If you say to children that they cannot be trans, that it's not a thing, do you think that it will not be in the way of them just living their life?
obviously you wouldn't see them because they would be on X just saying that, you know, just saying that they're a man or a woman or whatever. They're not even going to have the fucking trans flag in their bio.
They only faced tolerance as a form of love. And
yeah, trans people are okay as long as they're invisible. Okay, as long as they're invisible. Preferably in the closet, invisible.
Acceptance have a very false view on what love actually is. Real love means caring about a person enough to tell them the truth, especially when it's uncomfortable.
Real love is basically refusing to accept people as who they are. That is real love.
Or when it costs you something. Love requires sacrifice and honesty. It requires a willingness to encourage someone to accept themselves. For
I hate you from the position of love, okay? I do not accept you, but it's all love, okay?
Who they are. Not simply to
I call who you are ideology, but it's also from the place of love.
Tolerate.
That's what I've been saying. Haven't I been saying that the whole time, chat?
Yeah, you have, because you're an idiot. I've said this multiple times, and I feel like I sadly have to say it again. Tragic.
I've been literally saying that like if you're trans, why is your self-esteem based on another person? I've been literally saying that. Like
everybody's self-esteem is to a degree based on other people. I'm sorry to tell you this, but humans are actually social animals. I don't know if I don't know if you're aware of that, but when you're being discriminated against, when you're being just attacked by other people constantly, that will affect you psychologically. I'm sorry to tell you.
You need to learn to accept the things right now and just be fine with it and then love yourself.
It's a decision that could have a permanent impact on their life. I found out recently that my wife is pregnant with our first and we're having a daughter.
Blinded Journeyman says, yeah, based Foxy Woman had a few streams highlighting the difference between activists and trans people. Yeah. And the problem is the definition of what a trans person is.
Yeah, because you're stupid. You don't understand basic things. I know.
Sorry, I had to cough. Has been like irreparably fucked with.
Now,
no, it has not. What is the definition according to you? What is the definition of being trans according to you?
If I genuinely love my daughter, then in the future I would make sure that I help her make
because trans used to be like a person that was like, well, I was born a woman and like now but I want to be a man, so just I'm gonna live my life. It's like how a man would in society. That's what it meant before. And now it's like,
okay, like I want to hear what this person thinks the current definition of being trans is.
Yo, it's whatever I feel like today or tomorrow or whatever. Look at.
No, it's not. You're stupid. God, this is just nonsense.
Me, by the way, look at me, guys. It's whatever I want. Also, like if it would depend.
What does that even mean?
Depending on what I pick, you need to call me that. You need to call me that this day, and then you can't criticize anything that I do. That's literally what it's turned into.
I'm sorry, but you haven't given a definition at all. You have not. You've rambled. You've just given a bizarre ramble. You have not given a definition of what a trans person is currently.
decisions with her life, as long as she's under my roof. For example, if in the future a guy starts pursuing my daughter and I find out he is just a predator out to mess around with her, real love would be me stepping in and stopping her from seeing him, despite how that makes her feel. Even if at
That's great, but that is completely has nothing to do with being trans.
the time it'll cost me a portion of my relationship with her. Because love protects no matter what.
That's what I'm saying.
I will love her even
holy fuck
when it costs me.
That's what I've been saying. Is sometimes you have to tell people the hard thing if you actually care about them. It's all this fake Care Bear shit.
I know. That's why, full of love, I'm telling you, Leaflet, you're an idiot. You should not be talking about these subjects. You're not educated enough to be talking about these subjects. You're just a stupid person, and you should move on to talk about something else. I'm doing away with the Care Bear bullshit, and I'm just embracing total love approach towards you. Thank you.
All this fake ass shit that's like, oh yeah, you know, I love you no matter what all the time. Yeah, you do whatever you want, whatever makes you happy. It's bullshit.
Exactly, it is bullshit. You should not be talking about these subjects. You don't do whatever you want.
It's absolute fucking bullshit. And this is why I say things that even make my own audience pissed at me. This is why I talk about the having to move and stuff like that. Do you think it's in my best interest to say that? It's in my best interest to be like, yeah, guys, yeah, the government, it fucks you over. There's like literally nothing you can do about it. Yeah, totally nothing you can do about it. It's all the government's fault. And like, you might as well just like, you should just be sad because there's nothing that you can do.
What?
It's in my best interest to say shit like that. To make
the fuck?
Make people like me more. But I say the hard thing. I say the thing that makes people upset at me because I think it's what you need to hear.
You're so stupid. God damn. People like that get a following.
This is the problem. This deep and complicated issue is far too often just simply brushed aside by the very people who claim to love those struggling with something as heavy as gender dysphoria. Instead of stepping into the mess and walking with them towards truth and healing, many...
What is truth and healing in your mind? Surely it's gender-affirming care, right? If they struggle with gender dysphoria, right?
Choose the easier path, the cowardly path of tolerance. They stay silent, they nod along, and they affirm...
And this is what I'm saying, right? Is this really... Thank you,
Look, I'm sorry, what is the alternative to trans-affirming care when someone suffers from gender dysphoria? What is the alternative?
Man, fake love is on purpose because there's no tactic that allows you to sabotage competition by pretending to be on their side. Yeah, totally. And this is what I mean. Like, if you have a kid, is it in their best interest to be like, they go, Mom, I'm a dinosaur. It's like, oh yeah?
I'm sorry, there's no such thing as an identity of being a dinosaur, and gender identity is a real thing that exists, that humans possess. Did you know that? Did you know that the gender identity is a real phenomenon that exists in the world?
True. You're so fucking right. Let's go like attach a tail to your fucking back and like, you know, let's like...
Right, this is just basically attack helicopter to your argumentation. This is the attack helicopter all over again.
Let's get you surgery to get some scales. No, it's not. It's not the same thing. Right, and then...
Yeah, of course it's not the same thing, but it will not stop you from dishonestly using it.
Even if you were to go like the trans angle, like, you know, the more reasonable trans angle, and your kid says, oh, you know, Mom, I feel like a boy, right? And then you just tell them like, no, you don't. You know, you're not though. And like, maybe...
There you go.
Maybe we can go take you to therapy to work out those feelings. What is so bad about that?
What is wrong about that? Because your immediate reaction is to invalidate your child. It's like saying, hey, Mom, my throat hurts. Could we maybe go to a doctor that could figure out what they could give me so that my throat does not hurt anymore? And if my reaction to that was, well, hold on, are you sure? I think your throat doesn't hurt, actually. I'm going to take you to a psychiatrist that's going to explain to you why your throat actually does not hurt. How's that? This is just ridiculous.
What is so bad about saying, like, you know what, this is probably just a fad, I don't fucking know. Kids change their minds all the time. It's so weird to me that people like.
Yeah, what's so wrong with invalidating your child? Like, maybe we should do it with gay kids as well. Maybe we should just do that with gay kids as well. Oh, you're attracted to Timmy, you're attracted to Jimmy? Well, have you considered no, that you're not? And I'm going to take you to therapy and you can sort those feelings out.
Immediately take what they say at face value without even questioning it. As if like it's impossible for them to make a mistake. It's so
things
ridiculous.
that deep down.
Yeah, you're making a mistake about who you are somehow. If my son said, I feel like a girl, I'd be like, okay, let's go get you a dress and a therapist to figure out these feelings because I don't know how to navigate this. And I think he'll know how to talk you through how you feel better. How about if your son, quote unquote, tells you, I feel like a girl, you start with not maybe no, maybe it's just a fad, maybe you're mistaken. How about, okay, tell me about those feelings. How does that sound? Without any sort of positive or negative judgment attached to it. Maybe just, okay, tell me how you feel. Tell me about these things. Just tell me what you're feeling. And then we'll go to the person that will talk to you about these feelings. Like there's a person that can talk to you about these feelings. Right? Like I don't really think you have to go either way with this. You don't have to say, oh yes, you definitely are a girl or you're not. You can just say, okay, let's talk about these feelings. Okay? To give the child some space to actually explore them without giving them any, and then take them to the person that they can share those feelings with. Okay, you wanna be. This is really the Matt Walsh argument about the walrus or whatever. Ray and wannabe. My parents legit thought it was a phase and it nearly led to my death, but I'm sure this idiot would prefer me not being here rather than living as a weirdo. True. It's just ridiculous to just invalidate your children's feeling as a default reaction. There's an amazing way to ruin your relationship with your child and to make sure that they will never come to you with anything ever again, by the way. This is an amazing way to ensure that a child will think twice before telling you anything.
Actually believe are harmful or rooted in confusion, simply because it's socially safer to comply than to care. But like everything in life, there are exceptions. There actually are people who show real courage, who step in situations, who actually love enough to risk discomfort,
and he's fucking dead. Or
being misunderstood. And my hope, genuinely, is to shape myself to become one of these people. To offer the kind of love that doesn't evaporate the moment it becomes inconvenient. And I personally admire J.K. Rowling for her stance on this.
Yep.
Imagine the level of...
I have so much respect for J.K. Rowling for funding the misery of trans people, for saying that trans kids do not exist, for being an open bigot. There's so much respect.
Confusion a young person is dealing with today. We're all taught from a young age that we need to accept ourselves for who we are.
Because most therapists are going along with that farce. You can't spell therapist without rapist. Food for thought.
Yeah, this person... I will say that this person has an uncomfortable amount of sex with children and rape on their mind. This is, again, I'm just gonna say that this person goes to these places very naturally and very quickly. Rayun wannabe. It took over a decade to repair my relationship with my parents. My parents didn't have money. I probably would have cut them off completely. That sounds awful, but I think it speaks to how it broke our relationship.
But how does it actually fit in with gender dysphoria? The moment a young person starts questioning their gender, it almost feels mandatory now for the voices around them to immediately say, maybe you were born in the wrong body. So suddenly accepting yourself isn't connected to your biological reality anymore. It's tied to a mental struggle or an idea. How do these young people then decide what to actually accept if you are born one way, but not allowed to use that in this conversation anymore? How are young people making these decisions without any foundation?
How do you even know that? How are you making this assertion?
And how is it that they are adults who are pushing to force this on children? Now when you
okay, give me an example of adults pushing this on children. You will not be able to give me an example. You will not be able to. And I'm sorry, but supporting your child does not count as pushing it on the child.
Challenge this. People who support the modern transgender ideology.
I almost wonder if.
Also, what is. I still have no answer to the question of what gender ideology even is.
It's like a trying to reproduce to like make more trans people so that they could be more so that more people would be against like misgendering them or something.
I'm sorry, but this is such idiotic. This is not just a conspiracy theory. That is the stupidest conspiracy theory that I've heard in my entire life. I have never heard anything stupider in my entire life.
I wonder. I don't know.
It's not that simple.
I know you don't know. Because you're stupid. Hello, Maya Mayor. This person is insane, yeah?
Gender has nothing to do with biological sex. Gender is just a social construct.
Yeah. Gender and sex are two different things. That's right. Gender and sex are not synonyms. Imagine that.
So let's look at this then with moral consistency.
Moral consistency? What the fuck does that mean?
Because that matters.
Moral consistency? Not even logical consistency, moral consistency. What does that have to do with morality? Gender and sex being two different things. What does that have to do with morals at all?
If you genuinely believe gender has nothing to do with biological sex.
Also, they're correlated. So it's not like they have nothing to do with biological sex. Like this is, again, dishonest framing because these people are dishonest fucks. Okay? Nobody says that gender and sex have nothing to do with one another. There is a certain correlation between these things. What people are saying, me included, that those are two separate things, not that they have absolutely nothing to do with one another.
Then, to be morally consistent, you also have to believe that the social constructs around everything, including race and age, have nothing to do with biological reality.
Yeah, holy shit, is this person just now discovering that race is a made-up concept? Are you fucking kidding me? Is this person just now discovering that race is made-up bullshit? No way is this person just now discovering in this video that... What is... Oh, God.
You can't say one biological reality doesn't matter and then turn around and say another one suddenly does. That's just picking and choosing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Everybody who's educated beyond the third grade knows that race is a social construct. Are you kidding me? It's just wow. Okay, this is amazing. This is just great.
And here's where the analogy becomes important. If you think the social constructs around gender should be dismantled, then with the exact same logic, you'd have to believe that the social constructs around age, including the ones that protect children, are also just constructs that could be dismantled.
No, for fuck's sake. God. No. Yeah, we're totally gonna say that something that like age and height and weight are completely the same as someone's gender identity because they're the exact same metrics a completely dishonest person will say. And also I am going to I'm just going to once again note that another person that is a transphobe, another person that is against trans people, right-winger, I assume, right away goes to sex with children. Like, I'm just gonna... I don't know why, but these people always automatically their mind just strays towards sex with children. I have no clue why.
Yeah, and then you'd also have to say that children are capable of making their own decisions. Like, you would...
They are, actually. And ironically, many states very clearly define that children can make medical decisions for themselves without the approval of their parents. Look it up. There's a whole little list of which state allows what decisions for a child to make regarding their health. When you don't understand that different social construct may form differently, yeah.
Literally.
Which, by the way, even age is to a degree a social construct, because guess what? In some countries, when you are born, you are already 1 year old. There are such countries. There are countries that actually count your age from pregnancy. So when you pop out of the womb, you're already 1 year old. And in some countries you are born and then 1 year passes and then you're 1 year old. So even age is in that regard to a certain degree socially constructed. I mean, it is socially constructed, but you know, even age is not a completely fixed thing, considering that you have two different ways of when you start the countdown of how old a person is.
You would have to say that kids are capable of making their own decisions about life because they're smart enough to make a life-altering decision, and then you would have to agree with the PDFs. You'd have to.
Yeah, there you go. Always to having sex with children. Those people always go to having sex with children. Yeah, if you agree that children can make certain decisions about their lives, then you have to agree that children have to be able to make all the decisions in their lives. And then you have to agree that having sex with children is okay. These people are just deeply fucked up. Okay.
For logical consistency, you would have to.
No, you would not. I'm sorry. You can agree that children, you can on a case-to-case basis agree that children are just able to make certain decisions but are not able to make certain other decisions. You can do that. Did you know that? This is a stupid argument. It's not an all or nothing thing.
Would imply, absurdly and dangerously, that something as evil as pedophilia is just a social construct that could be thrown out. Now, to be absolutely clear, I am not comparing suffering with gender dysphoria to something as evil as pedophilia.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We aren't against pedophilia because it's not socially constructed. We're against pedophilia because it causes harm to children, because it causes demonstrable harm to children, not because it's not socially constructed. What the fuck? These people are unbelievable.
Pedophilia. I'm just showing how the logic behind social constructs.
No, it's not. It absolutely is not.
Collapses when applied.
Yes.
It's like when people say, if we allow gay people to marry, then we might as well allow pedophilia. Well, guess what? One of these things causes harm. One of those things does not.
Obviously, it's not saying that they're the same thing, but the logic is connected.
No, it's not. It absolutely is not. It only is connected if you're a very, very strange person.
The logic in which you use to justify one will also justify the other.
Well,
and that's what you have
it absolutely will not.
to think about the foundations of your beliefs.
Consistently. I don't believe any of these things are merely social constructs. As a
Well, your illiteracy is not my problem. Okay, your illiteracy is not my problem.
Christian, I believe in absolute truth, and I believe part of loving people is helping them move towards truth, not drift further away from it, especially when the alternative is settling for surface level ideas, like pretending biological reality is nothing more than a social construct.
Yeah, nobody says that biological reality is just a social construct. Gender has nothing to do with biological reality. I'm sorry, your illiteracy is not my problem. That is my motto that I've been saying a lot lately.
Earlier, I mentioned how the shift in the meaning of the word transphobia doesn't actually help transgender people. And there are reasons for this.
Yeah, it does.
First, it completely dilutes the power of the word when it is used against someone who genuinely fits the original definition.
That's what I've been saying. That's what I've been saying.
That's what I've been saying. If you call me a transphobe, then you're just... Fuck you. Fuck you. Okay? No, it absolutely does not.
You say this all the time, and then nobody cares anymore. So then, when an actual person that is like
that, I know you don't care, but you didn't care to begin with. I'm not calling you a transphobe because I hope that you'll care. I'm not calling you a transphobe because I hope. I'm just accurately describing what you are. Like, I don't care if you will care.
Comes out, they get lumped in with all the people who are not even transphobic, and now nobody.
Sex is also a social construct. That is a fair point, but I don't think these people are smart enough to be having that discussion.
Nobody cares what you have to say.
Actually holds hatred or prejudice towards trans people. The word used to describe a very real, very serious kind of hatred, but when you apply it to absolutely everything, it loses all of its power. it becomes noise. And that means the people who really are hateful end up blending into the background because the label gets slapped on.
I'm sorry, you are hateful. You are very hateful, as well as that leaflet person. Ridiculous. 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 Ridiculous.
And when everyone's transphobic.
Nobody is.
No one will be.
And second,
Yeah, nobody says that everybody is transphobic. Okay, you're not everybody. I know that you've got a big ego. I know that you're a little bit full of yourself, but trust me when I say you are not everybody. All right?
this is the
Calm
part
down.
nobody wants to talk about. The shift has completely backfired. When you keep calling people transphobic just for questioning an idea, eventually people stop.
Yeah, you're not just questioning an idea. I'm sorry, if you're gonna be giving me Matt Walsh as an example of a person that just questions an idea, then I'm just gonna firmly tell you to fuck off. I'm sorry, just that it is what it is.
Separating the ideology from the individual. The constant outrage, the constant shaming, the constant dehumanizing of anyone who doesn't fully agree, it pushes people
Yes, it's the biggest that are actually the victims of being dehumanized. Fuck me. And they make that argument sincerely.
so far away that they start resenting the entire conversation, including the people. The dehumanization and demonization of people who simply disagree with an ideology
Yes, the dehumanization of Matt Walsh. Are you kidding?
been allowed to go on for far too long. When you treat normal, decent human beings as villains long enough...
Yeah, like Matt Walsh. Again, the guy that was just shown on screen.
Them eventually give up trying to be compassionate at all. They
shut the compassion of Matt Walsh
down. They get defensive, and a tiny portion of those people will actually become the very thing that they were falsely accused of. That's what happens when you call everyone a monster. Eventually...
Yeah, I don't call everyone a monster. Okay, that's... again, you are not everyone. Like, you're very self-centered guy. You're not everyone.
Someone decides...
You shouldn't say stuff like that, Sid watching. Because, like, I mean, almost, I might be misunderstanding you. Like, do you actually hate trans people? I'm just curious. Like, do you actually hate trans people? Like, for real? Let's bring this up. You're playing now? Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. You shouldn't say that, though, because people are gonna, people will think that you're serious. It's kind of hard to tell what people are joking in text. It's a little bit easier for me because I can kind of be sarcastic in my voice, right? But saying it in text, people will think that you're being for serious. I'm just looking out for you because
I'm sure you are transphobic.
You're probably gonna get banned like by Twitch or something like that. So I would just not do that. I get that you're joking though.
Fine, then I'll be the monster you say I am. This doesn't protect trans people.
It's like with that meme. Oh, you're just forcing me. You look like you're making me become...
Doesn't create safety. It creates hostility, and it turns a deeply human issue, something that needs patience, love, and truth, into an ideological battlefield where everybody loses. And the saddest thing about all of this...
I think of it this way too, is like when you say shit like that, it actually validates them, right? So like even if you're joking, say there was a trans person say there's a trans person that hates me and hates this community, right? And they were in the chat, they were hate watching.
I don't hate you, I just think you're an idiot. Sincerely.
See that, they would clip it, they would use it for their own cause. So what I'm saying is like joking around like that is actually detrimental to like the cause in general. Yeah.
What is
people who suffer
I'm
the
sorry,
most?
what is the cause? This just sounds psychotic. What is the cause exactly?
Are those who genuinely struggle with gender dysphoria. Because
they don't know about you anyway, yeah, but I mean like why help them, that's all I'm saying.
Real compassion.
Honduran, yeah, have you had Honduran before? I had, it was like these beans. It was like beans with like an avocado and cheese, like this like white cheese, like a block of cheese. And it had like rice and pork chops. It was pretty good. Really, Resident Chef? Hell yeah, it's so good. You've had it once, it's really good? Yeah, it's really, really good. I like it. It's pretty good.
Because instead of getting real support, real compassion, and real truth, they get caught in the crossfire of a culture war.
As opposed to fake truth.
Built on labels that no longer mean what they used to. And this is where all of this circles back to something
this is what I mean, man. This is like some weird ass fucking sexual shit, dude.
Longer mean what they used.
Like, look at this. There's like kids' books in the background. Children's story hour, maybe kids in the audience. I can't tell. And look at that. There's like a little kid right here. and they're gyrating their hips, making sexual emotions with kids is totally inappropriate. Everyone knows that.
The crossfire
Everybody knows that. What an argument.
of a culture war built on labels that no longer mean what they used to. And
This doesn't mean like why, right? And then
Socialists, of course, as opposed to American white Jesus Christianity.
the thing is, you tell them like, I don't want to take a part in your degeneracy, and your degeneracy, you shouldn't have kids take a part of your degeneracy. And then they say, oh, you're transphobic then. No, I don't hate trans people. I just hate what you're doing. This has nothing to do with trans people. This has everything to do with you being a fucking freak. That's my point. That's been my point the whole time.
I mean, I agree. I have no idea what. The drag story hour has to do with being trans. It's a separate topic.
They'll be like, oh, it's because they're trans.
But of course, to tieflet here, it's all the same.
No, it's because you're a fucking degenerate freak. That's why.
this is where all of this circles back to something far deeper than a debate about language or ideology. At the end of the day, this isn't really about a word, it's about people. It's about truth, and it's about what love actually is.
Yeah, I'm totally gonna trust you on what the truth is. Totally.
And what it absolutely isn't. Because after watching the shift happen for years, I've realized something heartbreaking. We've confused agreement with compassion.
I'm telling you guys, the problem isn't even, it's the problem. Okay.
Yeah, tell me what the problem is. Go on, please. Shoot me.
Hear me out. The problem isn't people who are trans, and it's not people who are gay. The problem is fucking degeneracy.
Oh.
It's the fuck, and they've
Why?
not people who. Okay, hear me out. The problem isn't people who are trans, and it's not people who are gay. The problem is fucking degeneracy.
I have no idea what that's supposed to mean. What a meaningless term. An absolutely meaningless term.
And they've taken over their community, and they're.
Who are they? Am I one of them?
They're too scared to do anything about it. All of the gay and the trans people, they're too fucking scared to police their own communities, and now they have absolute freak degenerates running the show.
Who? Who are those freak degenerates running the show?
That's the issue.
We've confused silence.
Okay.
They're the same. No, they're not. I know people who are trans and people who are gay that aren't fucking degenerates. They're not absolute sexual maniacs all the time.
No.
With kindness. And we've confused tolerance with love. Real love isn't passive.
Maybe if you mean culturally, maybe if you mean like the cultural gay community, then sure. But I think that when it comes to, a person, a person who's attracted to the person of the same sex, or a person who is like trans, it's not always the same. It's not always included with the super degenerate part of it. It's not.
And
you might say that you disagree.
What is the super degenerate part of it, though?
With the entire same-sex attraction thing in the first place. You might say that you disagree with that, which is fine. But
No, it's not. Actually, it's stupid.
let's not pretend that every single person who is gay is the same thing as the people who are creating all of these problems. It's not the same thing.
It isn't just nodding along so you don't
I'm sorry, what problems are you referring to? You're being pretty vague.
offend anyone. It's not abandoning your own convictions because the world tells you it's easier to comply than to care. Real love means being willing to walk into
Base degeneracy is a gauge of societal downfall in direct connection with losing the fear of the Lord. Well, I mean, it's really the whole.
Real love is just invalidating people. Real love is just suppressing people. Great. Amazing. Thank you.
Sexual, the problem was it's really some Slanesh shit is the issue. It's a total desensitization to absolute sexual deviancy. Just sexual,
So we just go to empty slogans.
it's not only like a tolerance thing, it's more of like a praise thing. Like you have to praise it and be a participant in its affirmation, which is like, it's a completely
What the fuck does that even mean? What does that mean?
different thing. Like you can simultaneously say, listen, I don't give a shit what you do.
Who the fuck
you and you and whoever you love, whatever you want to do in private, like whatever. I'm not a part of that. I might not agree with it, but I'm not a part of it, right? Whereas like now the degeneracy is like in full swing. It's out in the
What? What the what? Oh.
open, and they
So now people are just gay in public, which is degeneracy. Got it. Thanks.
expect you to say, oh, I love this. That's the problem.
Comfortable.
And the straights are degens these days too? Yes. Yes, this also applies to the straights. Uh-huh. It does. It really does.
Conversations for the sake.
I have no idea what this person is referring to be quite honest with you. I have no idea what this person is talking about.
Of another person's well-being. It means valuing someone enough to speak truth, even when it costs you something. It means helping someone accept who they truly are.
I know Blair
not
White
just
and
who they
Buck
feel
Angel.
like
I know who they are.
in a painful season. So when you look at the shift in meaning, when simply thinking men don't belong in women's bathrooms, or men shouldn't.
It's interesting to see that degeneracy is an all-time
Yeah, simply treating trans women as men is, I guess, not transphobic somehow.
high, yet birth rates are lower than ever. It's because of a lack of consequences. It's because we've sacrificed children on the altar of doing what we want. It's literally that all of that you're talking about, Paramount. You're talking about. It's interesting that degeneracy is at an all-time high, but the birth rates are lower than ever. Yes, that is all paid for on the altar of the self.
This is what we call conspiracy theory, by the way.
And it's paid for in the souls of children. If that's not fucking crazy, I don't know what is. If that's not fucking evil, I don't know what is. In order to Mafrida,
Idiots like this get a following. That is so unfair.
Mafrida, I do what I want. I'm not ready for this. I don't want to be responsible for my actions. They kill babies for that. Like, think about that. Because they don't want accountability.
This is just rambling. I'm not going to entertain a response to this. This is just rambling.
They kill children.
This is just brainless rambling.
Tiny children that are like the weakest, most vulnerable among us. And they want to talk about protecting trans people. And they want to talk about children living in Africa not having water. When they're literally, and guys, when they say they kill the babies, it's not even like normal kill. It's not like they fucking crush their skulls. They take their skulls and they suck them through a fucking vacuum. I've seen it. I've literally seen it happen. They suck their brains out through a vacuum and they put it in a fucking jar. And then they study the jar. Guys, all of this degeneracy is on a road paved with babies. It's literally like, have you ever played fucking, you guys ever played Phantasy Star Online, like the original PSO on like PlayStation or Blue Burst or whatever? You know when you fight the last boss?
Yeah, the Phantasy Star Online was not originally on the PlayStation. It was originally on the Dreamcast, but thank you for, like, you're not even accurate on base gaming stuff.
On like that one level that's like a fucking, it's like a fortress, like
And I'm talking about Phantasy Star Online because Phantasy Star, the RPG, the not online version was on the previous Sega consoles, of course. Before anybody jumps on me to say, hey, listen, but the Phantasy Star was on Mega Drive or whatever. Yeah, I know. I'm talking about Phantasy Star Online, which was on the Dreamcast.
Like a sci-fi fortress, and you fight that one boss that has like all the screaming like faces on the ground. It's like that, but babies. That's the road that they've paved all of this sexual freedom shit on. It's actually fucking insane. It's the craziest thing ever.
Yes, sexual freedom leads to low fertility rates because that makes perfect sense. No, it's stupid, and this is this person's logic and philosophy in a nutshell.
Compete in women's sports, or we shouldn't allow kids to transition. When these thoughts are now considered transphobic acts...
Yeah, they are. They are literally transphobic, yes.
Then to answer the question in the title of this video, yeah, J.K. Rowling is transphobic.
Thank you. Yes, she is.
So is anyone who dares to believe in biological reality.
No, that's bullshit. That is such a slogan.
Basic boundaries.
And that's what I mean. So if you're going to change transphobic to mean that, then I guess everyone's transphobic. And now that everyone's transphobic, why do we care? That's my point. How are you going to hold it against us?
I'm just gonna make bullshit up, and I'm just gonna apply my bullshit to the definition, and then I'm gonna say everybody's transphobic, and then no one is. Okay, sure.
If we're all transphobic, okay. Well, then I guess say goodbye to your rights. I don't know.
Children, or even just common sense. Because under this new
Common
definition,
sense.
it doesn't matter if you love trans people. It doesn't matter if you
Doesn't
want
matter,
what's
yeah,
best for
exactly.
them. It doesn't matter if you support their right to live in peace and dignity. None of that counts anymore. All it takes is one disagreement with an ideology, not a
What is the disagreement and what is the ideology?
person. And suddenly you've been rebranded as a bigot. Not because
Yeah.
you hate anyone,
Yeah, you better suck the milk out of the trans tit. And if you don't, you're a fucking bigot.
What the? Please stop being weird.
Exactly.
but because you refuse to bow to an idea.
Please stop being weird.
Dude,
Let's say.
dude, I so fucking agree, dude. I so fucking agree with this video. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, I'm done. I'm done with this.